So there's been a lot of Liverpool updates coming out in the last 24 hours, and it looks like Liverpool is set to surpass 250 million in sales in the last 12 months because they could be about to get 50 million plus add-ons for Darwin Nunez, who is set to go to Al Hilal. Romano has said the deal is happening and here we go as expected soon, unless something goes wrong and Nunez can't agree personal terms. But they haven't even sold Elliott, they haven't even sold Doak, they haven't even sold Chiesa and Simicas to the link to exits. They're making big money off the likes of Diaz, off the likes of Darwin Nunez. And Liverpool, look, they've got money to invest. Florian Wirtz is in, Ekatike is in, Frimpong's in, Kirkus is in. They want Alexander Isak. And now there's links of Liverpool going in for Bradley Barcola. Now, when Liverpool were first linked to Bradley Barcola, I thought it's probably a little bit of agent talk. Maybe it's being used to get Bradley Barcola a better deal at PSG or put a bit of pressure on PSG, or maybe Liverpool are putting it out there to tell Liverpool they've got alternatives. Sorry, to tell Newcastle they've got alternatives. Not that Barcola is an alternative to Isak, but maybe to tell Newcastle they've got other attacking options and maybe put a bit of pressure on Isak, put a bit of pressure on Newcastle. I thought it was agent talk. However, there's more and more credible reports coming out linking Liverpool to Bradley Barcola. So it looks like there's something in that. So in today's video, I'm going to discuss Barcola, if I think it would be a good signing for Liverpool. What's the news on that? We're going to talk about the Nunez news because Nunez to Al Hilal is happening. And here we go, as expected soon. We're going to talk about the latest on Harvey Elliott exit. Obviously, Liverpool are looking at Gay, they're looking at Isak. There's now rumours that they're looking at Barcola, and Barcola would be, let's be honest, an absolutely unbelievable signing for Liverpool. He's a fantastic player, fantastic left winger. But I do think with Rio and Yamoa coming through, with obviously Gakpo still being there, Salah still being there, you know, while Barcola would be good because I do think they need winger depth, I think probably getting a striker and a centre back is probably more important than getting another winger. For Liverpool, I think Gay and Isak would be better. Obviously, Nunez leaving and sadly what's happened with Jota. Liverpool are sort of short up front. They've got Ekatike coming in who looks great, who can also play on the left with Isak. But I'd assume Liverpool would prioritise Isak over Barcola, but you never know. It could be an option. Liverpool have shown what they're capable of this window. They seem to be able to get everyone. So I'm going to start with the Nunez news, and then I'm going to talk about Barcola, Isak. There isn't really anything on Mark Gay to Liverpool other than Liverpool like him, and they're waiting for his price to go down. I think the closer and closer they get to deadline day, they're hoping that maybe Palace just lower the fee because they don't want to lose him as a free agent. But at the same time, Palace will know that Liverpool do desperately need a centre back, particularly with Gomez's injury, Kwanzaa not being replaced, Matip not being replaced. Who knows if that's going to work for Liverpool? But yeah, let's talk about the news. Let's talk about the transfer news and everything that's come out here. Liverpool have agreed a deal with Al Hilal for Darwin Nunez worth 53 million euros plus add-ons. So that's 48 million pounds plus add-ons. So they're going to get over 50 million, potentially 60 million for him. Nunez has opened the door to the move last week and personal terms being finalised. So Nunez wants the move, but they're just finalising personal terms. Then there is a here we go. But Liverpool have already agreed it with Al Hilal. So Nunez to Al Hilal is happening, and that looks like nearly 250 million in sales for Liverpool in the last 12 months, which is mad to think. They are very, very good at selling. Now, there is reports coming out earlier today that in recent hours, two names that have been circulating in Liverpool's offices are Rodrigo and Bradley Barcola. The club are absolutely determined to sign an additional attacker. Is this separate of Isak? Is this instead of Isak? Because if Isak goes, if Nunez goes and Isak's the replacement, is Barcola the replacement for Diaz? Are they looking at both? But you also need Mark Gay. You've made a lot of money in sales. You've won the league. You made a lot of money from that. Maybe you could do that. Santi's a decent source of information. It was then said by other French sources that Liverpool have reignited their long-standing interest in PSG's Bradley Barcola, but they said amid difficulties over the pursuit of Isak. So I don't know if this is agent talk, because for me, well, Bradley Barcola is a brilliant attacker and it could put some pressure on Newcastle. He's a winger. He's not a striker. It's not an Isak alternative. It's just a great winger coming in. So maybe they've put this out to put a bit of pressure on Newcastle. I'm not sure. I think Barcola would be great, but with obviously Ekatike able to play out wide, I think Isak would be a better signing because you've got Rio and Yamoa, Salah, Gakpo, even Frimpong could play on the wing. But I think if you've got both and Gay, that would be unreal. So what's been said on Liverpool's interest? Barcola's been on Liverpool's radar for years. The scouts are tracking his development and maintaining contact with his entourage. Liverpool's loyal scouting approach could persuade the player to join. Now, that was could come out from very credible journalists. And Fabrice Hawkins, who's a very good journalist, said that Liverpool are intensifying contacts and examining the player's stance carefully. So Liverpool are very much looking at this situation, and he's been on Liverpool's radar for a while. So Liverpool are looking at Bradley Barcola. Whether they make a move for him or not, well, that's yet to be said. But Liverpool are showing interest. Fabrice Hawkins' exact words are Bradley Barcola's on Liverpool's shortlist. Him leaving is currently not on the cards, but not impossible. It will be careful to examine the position of the player, and the price tag is a minimum of 100 million. So it doesn't look like it's an easy deal to do. But he's said Liverpool are interested, he's on the shortlist. And he's also said that, they're examining the player's stance. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. We know that Barcola has been on Liverpool's radar for years. Now, Sasu Tovarelli has got onto this, and he's a bit hit and miss. Now, he actually was the first person to put out that Wirtz had chosen Liverpool before David Ornstein, but then he put out stuff that Sesko was going to choose Newcastle, and, well, that doesn't look like it's the case. But he said exclusive. Liverpool Football Club is set to proceed with a concrete offer to Paris Saint-Germain. The Reds are very determined to transform their interest into a bid during recent talks. Deal won't be under 100 million. Isak's situation explains Liverpool's new strategy. Real impact more to follow. So he's saying Liverpool is set to proceed with a concrete offer to PSG. They're determined to transform their interest into a bid. For me, this stinks of agent talk. For me, I don't know if you're going to make a bid for Barcola. You might. Liverpool surprising us this window, but it stinks of agent talk of, okay, Isak's too expensive. We're going to make a bid for Barcola to scare Newcastle into lowering Isak's fee because they're getting closer and closer to the end of the window, and Isak's pushing for a move and threatening all this and that. I think it might be a negotiation tactic from Liverpool to try and get Isak's fee down. So there is a part of me that thinks it's agent talk, but it is interesting. I saw this good roundup here about Anfield Sector, and they said basically that Liverpool like the player, they've had contact, PSG don't want to sell, Barcola hasn't spoke really to Liverpool yet and said he wants to stay or he wants to go, but he's aware of Liverpool's interest and a move isn't being ruled out. So I don't see it happening. I think Liverpool will go back in for Isak. I think the Sesko deal being off means that Newcastle will try and keep Isak, but again, despite Sesko being off, he's not training with them apparently. He's not training with the squad apparently. So it could be one to watch, Barcola. It's not really an Isak alternative, but I guess with Ekatike, you could go for another winger, and Gakpo can always be backup for Ekatike, I guess. It would be a very good signing. Now, there is updates on Harvey Elliott leaving, and people are talking about where Liverpool are getting the funds for Isak after Wirtz, after, and Gay. Well, that is through sales. Leipzig are in direct discussions with Harvey Elliott as their priority target to replace Xavi Simons, and they're waiting on Harvey Elliott's decision. Liverpool will not sell him cheaply and will compare market trends with players over a pedigree, and they might look at Simons' value of 70 million euros to make sure they get a good price for Harvey Elliott from Leipzig. It was said in regards to Harvey Elliott that their belief is he's open to a move, but more teams might come to the table for Harvey Elliott. So that again could be 50 odd million. You could be getting 100 million for Nunez and Elliott on top of the money you got for Diaz. Liverpool could be making a nice amount of money. Now, Bradley Barcola, who is he? Why do I rate him? Why do I like him? He's 22. He's a French winger. He mostly plays left wing, but can play right wing. He's very unpredictable. He's good at attacking the box. And he got 39 goal contributions across all competitions last season, which was 21 goals and I believe 17 or 18 assists. And he's already proven in the Champions League that he can cause problems for top defences. He's a proper modern dynamic winger, which Liverpool are looking at. I think Rio Enyimura could be that guy, but maybe Liverpool think because they're playing at such an elite level, they don't want to put too much pressure on Rio Enyimura, despite him looking in pre-season like he might be ready. Well, I don't know if he'd be ready, but he gives me Lamine Yamal vibes. Looking at his data via Data and B, you can see when it comes to key passing, assists, and non-penalty goals and assists, and crosses, and carrying, he outperforms Rodrigo and Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz and Rodrigo both outperform him for dribbling. But as an all-round player in terms of key passes, assists, creativity, goal contributions, he's very high. Of course, he's playing for the best team and one of the easier of the top 5 leagues, so his numbers are high. But again, he wasn't, a player that just gets output. He's a player that's good, a player that influences the game, and a player that's not could have got a lot more minutes had PSG not had like the four best wingers in football. He got 14 goals and 10 assists in Ligue 1 last season. But what is he good at? He's good at ball carrying. He's good at beating defenders 1v1. He's good at progression play. He's two-footed. He can score, assist with either foot. He's comfortable on both wings. One thing he does is he can get the ball and he can manipulate defenders well and he can find space. He's very good in the transition. He's very good at stretching defences. I think he brings pace to Liverpool, but he's also someone who was in the 97th percentile for open play expected assists. He's one of the most creative wingers out there. He's not selfish. I think he'd work well. 99% of the touches in the box. He gets forward. He gets in dangerous areas. He's not selfish. He's an attacking player with insane output. I think he'd be a really good signing for Liverpool. And I think under Arne Slot, Liverpool's attack thrives with wide players who can create and score, and he can do that. He can rotate with Gakpo and Salah. It gives proper depth there, gives proper flexibility there. He's perfect for coming inside, and those patterns and Kirker's overlapping will allow that. He link up well with Wirtz and Ekitike, and he's direct and he's unpredictable, and you can go from outside to in, and defenders can't read him, and that's probably the best trait a winger can have. I think he offers something a little bit different. I think he offers what Rio Enyimola might offer in a few years, and Rio Enyimola is showing elements of it now. But Rio Enyimola is really young, but you don't want to put too much pressure on him. He's a very high ceiling attacker. He's only 22 and he's still at a top level, so we could go even higher. First, improve squad depth. It's part of a long-term vision. He'd be an insane signing. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the news. But Darwin Nunez is still set to be happening. Barcola, could he be coming in? Rodrigo Barcola, or do you think they're just being used to, even at the different positions, to get Isak over the line? Let me know your thoughts down below, Liverpool fans. Thank you for watching. Bye.